Time now for the Executive Edge right here on Squawk Box this morning. And we have two tech CEOs speaking out this morning about the future of capitalism and wealth in America. Here's Salesforce's CEO Mark Benioff at the TechCrunch Disrupt conference.
I really strongly believe that capitalism as we know it is dead, that we're going to see a new kind of capitalism. And that new kind of capitalism that's going to emerge is not the Milton Friedman capitalism that it's just about making money.
Right.
And if your orientation is just about making money, I don't think you're going to hang out very long as a CEO or a founder of a company. You have to be more than that in today's world. You certainly have to be more than that in San Francisco.
And that's because
you certainly
you need that
have to be more than
right?
that in our tech industry as well.
And Benioff later posed this question. He said, if trust isn't your highest value, then what is? And I think this gets to the whole question of shareholder primacy and what the Business Roundtable said. I don't know if he's right or if he's wrong. I think
the key thing in what he said was, especially if you're in San Francisco. I think that's probably
But you know
right.
what? But the difference is, if you're not hitting your numbers for the shareholder,
Right.
it
Doesn't matter.
The rest of it, and I hate to say this, it doesn't matter. Nobody's giving you extra credit for nailing the other component parts.
Agreed.
Look at the CEO of eBay, by the way. They do all sorts of great things, and he's out. Why is he out? Because he's not hitting the numbers for the company. And so,
right, but we're going to the next step now. Even when they're hitting the numbers for the company, there's how much do you need to make. So now we've.
But I don't know if it's. You're saying how much do they need to make for the shareholders, or
no,
how much?
CEO.
No, how much does a CEO? So you have people weighing in saying you've made too much. You don't need to make that much.
On the compensation front.
Right. What's the right ratio?
I think that, right. No, that's a question.
And by the way, should there be billionaires, which is something that's been brought up?
That's the next stage. So everyone, once you get down that path, what I notice is billionaires are the first ones to say they don't want any other billionaires. They've already made it. They want to make it tougher to hurdle those jumps for the rest that are coming after them.
Well, let's jump in to one of those billionaires. Separately, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg held a surprise Q&A session with employees last night. He sympathized with Bernie Sanders' view on billionaires.
I understand where he's coming from. I don't know if I have like an exact threshold on what amount of money someone should have. But look, I mean, at some level, no one deserves to have that much money.
Zuckerberg compared himself to a robot who needs recharging and joked about the live stream. He said, at this point, I do such a bad job at interviews that what do we have to lose? Which I have to say, the more open he's been about this, the better I think he's done.
So
the last couple of things I've heard from these Q&A
didn't look like an interview. That almost looked like a TED Talk or something.
It was a Q&A session.
Just a Q&A back and forth.
With employees and things back and forth, too. So this was another great situation where I think the more he steps out,
and talks,
the better he is.
The better off he is. But we are at an interesting moment. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's about the company having to do more. I don't know if it's about taxes. Is that really the answer?
I think it has to do with the political wins.
But I think there's the political wins.
We've become a very social society where there's a guilt if you've succeeded in anything. And Zuckerberg shouldn't make apologies for being successful. Billionaires shouldn't make apologies for creating success and creating millions of jobs collectively.
It becomes
a little annoying.
Is that we don't have enough people, and Joe would laugh if he was here. We don't have enough people espousing the virtue of what capitalism can do, because I think that that's actually what is driving our whole economy and everything else, and that's the important part. I think the flip side of that is we haven't nailed how we collect revenue and how we spend revenue as a government to make sure that opportunities are equal and everybody has an opportunity.
I understand. And even if we haven't nailed it, it's still better than the alternative that you see around the world.
Better than the alternative, no question. The question is, can we nail it? And I think that's,
but I think
that's a real question.
What's happened to reasonable sorts of solutions to these things that you could get Democrats and Republicans to agree on? Things like extended the earned income tax credit, which Republicans and Democrats in the past used to talk about all the time as that being a very fair way of trying to do this and making sure that nobody falls below a living wage. And ideas like that have been thrown out the window. We're just going to go after any success and take it down.
Right, but we also have to realize the middle class and the lower income earners are the wealthiest and have the most out of any other nation.
Even Steve Schwarzman.
Yeah, but that's a weak argument.
It's a weak argument, but it's the truth.
Steve Schwarzman, who is a devout Republican, will come on the show and say that he thinks that the American dream is struggling too. So that's not.
That's fine.
And I think the issue
and a lot of times, to be politically correct, you have to say that.
No, but I think even beyond that, I think there's a fair argument to be made that we have to figure out a way to actually make the opportunity piece equal, because today it's harder.
Do you think the opportunity piece is not equal?
100%. And I think
where is it lacking? Where is the lack of opportunity?
Education opportunities.
Why is that, though?
Today, if you look at every,
would you send your kid to a public school that had a low or failing rate if you had the opportunity to go?
Well, you should have the ability to get yourself into a position to succeed. But
the point is, if you're in the lowest quartile, the ability today to be in the lowest quartile and get into even to the next quartile, let alone the top quartile, is materially harder to do today than it was 20 years ago and 30 years and 40. We've not improved. We've actually gone backwards. There's no
It's
that's not even up for debate.
It's still better than any other system that you can find.
Better than, but I'm saying it's not as good as it used to be. And so that's when people talk about the American dream.
People that want to succeed. And I know it's not politically correct to say that, and everyone wants to say.
I think to be honest with you, in fairness, I think mathematically that's incorrect. I think
mathematically it's incorrect.
I think today it
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you go to school. I've been on Wall Street since 1993. I have guys that never even graduated high school.
Look,
that are millionaires because they worked 14, 15, 16-hour days.
I am not dismissing.
It's not about giveaways. It's not about making the world equal.
You're right, but it's not always. Even people who do the right things and work hard don't always have.
What I'm suggesting to you is there are people now in various inner cities and other places.
That's life, though. That's life, though.
And by the way, this comes down to health care, because both Republicans and Democrats have said health care is their most important issue heading into this. This is what Steve was talking about this time for this election. They're still worried about health care, and that is one of the things.
We should do this on air. This is not on air, right?
No.
By the way,
you're right.
The hustling piece of this, that's table stakes. I agree with you. This should not be a freebie game. This is not a paint by numbers operation. I get that piece.
All right, save that tape.
Okay, we'll talk more about it.